Ready for some chatting tonight? Just a little gabbity gab gab gab. Little yappening. So I'm kind of curious, you know. I was watching a video earlier, but I'm kind of curious what you guys think of like dating apps. Like, how useful are they? Because I completely missed that timeline. You know, I mean, that's just not something I ever had to worry about. Oh, nice. You got your ID, so your DMV appointment went well that you were nervous about, which I guess is a thing to be nervous about. And you're hunting, as in hunting license, or you're hunting for something? But, you know, I never had to deal with dating apps. I never had to worry about it or anything like that. And I've heard good and bad. Oh, okay. So, okay. But, you know, like I said, I never had to worry about dating apps. I never had to worry about stuff like that. And I'm just curious what people do now. I mean, like, is dating apps such a big thing? Or is that more overblown? Because I hear a lot about it, but how much do people actually use it versus what the media says? Because most people I know in real life haven't met people through dating apps. Not dating apps specifically. Like, I know some friends that met through WoW or other online games. I don't know of anybody that's actually had a successful relationship through a dating app other than what's said in the news or, sorry, in advertisements or media. Sup, Jade? Might be interesting to get your take on this too. I don't know how much, I don't know. It's just one of those things that, dating apps seem to be prevalent, but some like go by the wayside, new ones pop up. It seems like dating apps are great for niche interests. Like, I mean, how many, hetero, quote unquote, dating apps have come and gone? You had Match, you had, what was it, Bumble? But niche dating apps, like, what was it? My friends were telling me about FetLife. It was about people with fetishes. And another, Grindr. That's the other one. Those seem to be like ones I've heard about off and on for years, but the supposedly heterosexual ones, they keep bouncing. I mean, sure, Tinder's been around for a while, but from what I understand, that's more of a hookup app and not so much as a dating app. Okay, well, see, I don't know. Like I said, I've never used a dating app. I am more about the person to, I want to meet somebody face to face. I mean, even if, for whatever reason, my wife and I split or something like that, if I suddenly found myself single. Oh, that was the other one. Farmersonly.com. Like, what the hell? Which, sure, they're all farmers. Hey, Tom. We're talking about dating apps and how good or bad they are. Sorry, the whole thing that precipitated this, by the way, is that I was watching a video earlier about, it's not a dating app, but it's basically a companion app for dating, I guess, but for women only. And it's called T. And basically they rate their exes. Yes, that one. Right, I mean, I've never used them either. I was just curious what people think of them. Oh, that's okay. It automatically censored it. Yeah. Yeah, I automatically censor links. Don't worry, Ninetales. The only one that can post links is me or my mods. Tom, don't abuse that. Actually, did I allow mods? Doesn't matter. Yes, I did allow Tom's. Mods. Yes, all my mods are now called Toms. Bad joke. Hey, Gossip. Welcome in. But the point is that, I mean, I don't know anybody that actually uses dating apps. Hey, perfect timing, Gigi. Good job. Gambling girl is here. Yeah, I'm just saying that, you know, there was this app that apparently is for women only to rate their exes or something like that. I don't know. It's ridiculous to me. That, you know, nothing more have I seen so channeled for revenge than an app that is meant to be a companion to dating apps, and you can rate your exes. Right. But it's like supposed to be for women only, you know, the guy's a sleaze or whatnot. I think the idea behind it is, hey, this guy, you know, was way too touchy-feely. No, not the AI ones. Well, as you should be. Cyberpunk is awesome. Look up, what's his name? But Neuromancer. It's a great book. It's basically the genesis of cyberpunk. But it just baffled me that, I mean, I haven't thought about dating apps or anything because I haven't seen ads for them forever. You know, and that just shows you how out of touch I am. I don't get ads. Well, there was that guy. Oh my God. Like, even worse is that he chose the AI girlfriend, but she stayed with him because the wife stayed with him because she knew it was just going to pass. Even funnier is the AI blocked him. From what I understand, like a later update is that the AI blocked him. So that guy needs to go to some counseling. There are some definite issues there. You earn cinnamon rolls. Someday we'll get them to you. Oh, you at least half a dozen by now. If not a full dozen. But I don't know, it was just something that kind of hit me funny. Yeah. Yeah, well, because they reset the AIs every once in a while once it gets to a certain level. So it resets back down to the basics. And apparently what's normally meant to be like, you know, years worth, you can leave the peach out for me. But see, since these are for XOGG, but when it comes to these not AI, dating apps, I am so baffled. Like, you're rating somebody on this very minor criteria. I'm just not a big fan of peach. It's too sweet. It hits some level in my taste buds that is just, it's too much. Even though I like sweet things, but for some reason, peach and I think it's mango hits a different level to me. Whereas I can eat like an orange, I can eat, you know, other sweet fruits. But for some reason, you know, peach just is not a flavor I like. With, I don't know, maybe I'm not making sense, but with like the dating apps, it seems so weird, especially when we have so many other ways of getting in touch with people. Nectarines are good. I mean, I don't like apples. Like just to bite into an apple. I don't like apple flavored, like fake apple flavored things. But I love apple pie, apple fritters. Like a baked apple with cinnamon and sugar is great. That's about the only way I like apple. Oh, and cider. Good apple cider is good. I take it you guys don't have much, to say about the dating app thing. Because I really don't either. I don't know anybody that really uses them. Hell, I don't even know if, it's taboo to say you do. Like, I legit don't know. What's up, T-Row? I also think most of the people in my chat aren't really using dating apps. So, however it works. I don't know. It's just funny to me to see that there's like now a specialized app that's a companion to dating apps that's for rating certain people. And that just seems so ripe for revenge. I don't care if it's women only, men only. Either side, it's going to be ripe for revenge. Why, thank you, Jar of Hearts. And it seems so weird. Well, yeah, and that's fine. I mean, and see, that's the thing is I know most people like, oh, I got a profile. Single people, I'll have a profile somewhere. Oh, I have a profile over here, or I'll have a profile over there. But I don't know any of them that actually use them or have had any luck when they did try. Right? Well, like I was saying, there was that app, this companion app that spurred this conversation was called T. It's for women only to basically rate their exes. How good they are, bad they are, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, if a woman's giving a guy a glowing endorsement, can you trust it? It's either somebody in his life that's talking him up, or it's somebody that's trying to pass off something bad to somebody else. And I'm sure that... Right. That is my feelings right there. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I can see that some guy going into the app, figuring out a way around their security because, they're supposed to be, they supposed to have to be a woman. But I mean, does that work if you just take a random picture of somebody else? Like, do you have to do so? I mean, I don't really know. But I'm sure, especially with as controlling as some men can be, how quickly he could control somebody else in his life to set up the app so he could use it. Right. Well, because people want their anonymity. That's the problem is that most of these people, they use fake details. They catfish, I guess. And it's like, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to fake just to get get in touch with somebody that, you're going to have to meet in real life at some point. And you're going to be proven to be a big fat liar. And in some cases, they are too. Once you assume everybody's lying, what does it matter? Right. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Right. I mean, men generally have the lion's share of being creepy. And a large part of that has to do with how we raise men. I had a lot of terrible examples to follow. But as I, grew older, I realized they were terrible examples. As stupid as it is, I got most of my morality from the comic books I read in junior high. I knew that I didn't want to be treated the way that I saw others treating people around me. So I stopped. I tried to be a better person. I'm still trying to be a better person. I don't have it perfect yet, but I'm trying, damn it. And that's, that's the thing is that something like this companion app doesn't get anybody to try and be a better person. This doesn't do anything for anybody. You're just further isolating a guy, and I'm specifically saying, right, guys, because this app is specifically for rating their ex-boyfriends. I mean, this isn't even an app for lesbian to rate their ex-girlfriends. It is specifically for women to rate their ex-boyfriends or husbands or whatever. It just seems wrong. Or at least that's the information I got from when, I watched the video on it. Because I'm damn sure not going to look up the app. That's just not something I'm going to do. But I feel that, again, I have to go back to this, and this is where I was eventually going with this, that the anonymity of the internet is a double-edged sword. Because you're anonymous, you feel a little bit more protected. Because you're anonymous, you feel like you can get away with stuff, or that people can't find you. When that's far from the truth. People can find you wherever. That's why I don't really hide anything. Right? I mean, dating apps are just, to me, can be used for so many dark web. Right, for finding people and stuff like that. But most people don't even know that you can find the majority of people just using ClearNet sources. Right? I mean, I'm sure that you can have a lot of fun. I mean, I've seen compilations of videos on YouTube of hilarious Tinder profiles or dating app profiles. There's a lot of fun to be had. But we also forget that those are people trying to be funny, trying to do something to get attention. And we always look towards certain things, when we're looking at these things. Everybody has a type they're going for. Regardless of how they feel that they, it might be a person out of their league. Hell. I never really understood that idea. People can be attracted to people. It doesn't matter. And especially if the person you're trying to go after says, oh, I'm way out of your league. Okay, then obviously you're not the kind of person I want to be around. Because while they may have, they may look good, that personality is cancer right there. Anybody that judges anybody on such little criteria is a joke. Sure, there are red flags. Do not get me wrong. There is some big red flags. But it's just the same way, right? Looks fade, personality is eternal. But there's also some girls, that think, being that over-the-top creeper is what women or men want. Put it all out there, and it's like, no, you're just being a creep. I have a thing for people with faces, yes. Although I'm not going to draw the line. I mean, if it's a horrible accident and they lost their face, they lost their face in the wall, I could look over it for a good personality. I'm just saying. You can't be attached to something that is so ephemeral. I mean, especially in today's day and age with makeup effects, right, Tater? People can change their look like mad. You can take a picture for a dating app, but with the right amount of makeup and everything, guess what? You have literally changed your face. Just with the proper shading and stuff, you can make it look like all sorts of stuff. Yeah, because I'm sure that's worked out so well. Throw the crazy out there first. I've known a lot of people that are fun to be around because they throw out that crazy. And I'll tell you anything. Guy, girl, it doesn't matter. The biggest ticker on everybody's freaking list. Can they make me laugh? Yes, Tom, I'm not calling you out. By you making that statement, you're calling yourself out. See, I knew it. I knew that's what you were going to say. So, I'm just trying to say, why are you out of luck, Green Jeans? What is that supposed to mean? Yeah, that's about right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, especially in today's day and age, more people are a lot more accepting than they used to be. But cheesy one-liners are great. You know, a lot of people find them. And especially, like, the worse cheesy one-liner, the better. And if they're not going to be there through the worst, why are they going to be there through the best? You know, I mean, are you looking for somebody that's, hey, Infinite? I mean, are you going to be looking for somebody that only wants you for the good times? I mean, that's even with, friends. They're called fair weather friends. We're talking about dating apps and the fun we can have with them, or lack thereof. But, I'm also just giving advice of just be yourself. Whoever that may be. Because if you're not, you're going to find somebody that, like, if you constantly have to put this mask on for this person, they're not worth being around. I was watching a video earlier about a dating app, companion app. A dating companion app called T, and it's basically for women to rate their exes. I would agree with that, Tater. Your attitude is a feature. My attitude is a feature. I'm not the easiest person to get along with. I mean, who I am here is pretty much who I am in real life. I'm not afraid of talking about any subject. I mean, I will talk religion and politics. You just may not like it. And I'm okay with that. One of my favorite sayings is I'm willing to be the villain in your life if it makes you better. I think that's more of malnutrition, Ninetails. You're not getting enough vitamin D in your life. Ba-dum. You find it a little hard to believe what? That I'm hard to get along with? When I see something that I think needs addressed, I say something. Ask Tater. I can be kind of brutal unthinkingly. It's not meant to be a jerk. It's just, I see something. Ha, 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 ha. No pun intended. I mean, I know I'm hard to get along with. I try to be I've tried to learn a lot more tact as I've grown older, to be a little bit nicer. Yeah. And you got your stubbornness from your mom and your dad. Yes. We all need somebody to be brutally honest with us. But they don't need to be mean about it. And that's sometimes something I had to learn to be a little bit better about. because I wasn't taught to be. I didn't have good role models. We'll go back to that. You know, my dad was very brutal. He was mean. Not physically abusive, but very emotionally. I mean, there's no real good way to say that. Nothing I ever did was good enough. So I learned to try and be the best I could be at anything I did. You know, a Spawn of Chucky. Wasn't that emaciated little twerp doll thing? The emo vampire wannabe doll? Looked like a reject from Monster High? Sorry, that doll from the Spawn of Chucky just... I did not like the looks of it. Well, I mean, your mom, yeah. That's fine. But, you know, like I said, you know, my dad was very, very brutal about... He always had to find something wrong. Always. Which is probably where I got my keen observation skills. Where I got so good at watching out. To try and just make sure everything was perfect. And then at some point, I think I hit 16, I just stopped caring. Well, yeah, I don't try to sugarcoat. I don't sugarcoat very well. I don't have a problem with it either. I mean, really? But I'm just saying that I think that's kind of the problem, you know, going back to the original, is with dating apps, is that you just put all the positive up there. No thanks. We only put the positive. Or, you know, in an effort to be brutally honest, we only put the negative. We don't do the honest. You know, the true. You know, it's like, yeah, I can be brutally honest, but I also try to be sweet. You know, I try to help people as best I can. And sometimes in helping them, I'm too honest. You know, because that's just who I am. I think I would do terrible on dating apps. Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think if I ever had to try and fill out one, it would be a wreck. It'd probably end up on some website as being one of those, you know, hey, look at this idiot. And I'd be okay with that. Because it's really who I am. I don't feel like putting on a show for anyone. Because I see that as partially wrong. Because that means I'm lying to you. And that's one thing I have a big problem with, is anybody that lies to me. Or can't tell me the truth. You know, that's another big issue. You know, if somebody doesn't like what I'm doing, tell me. How can I get any better if you're not going to tell me? I mean, I don't know what else to say but that. Yes, exactly. I have learned to handle a crowd quite well. And not in that way, Ninetales. But, you know, to work a room, to talk with people. But I always try to do it one-on-one when I'm talking with people. You know, I always care about the people that are around me. I do care about who's out there and what they're doing. I have a very hard time understanding why people feel the need to hide themselves. Maybe that's, you know, autism speaking or something like that. But why hide who you really are? Because isn't that lying? And if you're lying to a person that's close to you, why can't you tell them the truth? You know, maybe I'm off base. But that's just something I see. That's something I feel. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, I know that, okay, don't reveal everything about yourself. Like you're at work, there's a certain level of professionalism. Okay. Okay, that is true. Some people can't be honest with themselves. Yeah, okay. I have a hard time with what you're saying, Rando, because I've never had a worry in that way. I mean, so I don't know from that side of it, is what I mean. I got bullied a lot in school because I like comic books. We know you have a lot of charisma, Tater. You just don't realize it. I mean, shoot, my parents thought I was either going to be a politician or a pastor. But that's one of the things is that somebody with charisma generally doesn't know they have it. I never really thought about the fact that I had the ability to talk to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Like, I drove Tater to a job interview, and I was talking with one of the guys that worked at the place. Because I just wanted to get out of the house. It's not like she couldn't drive herself. It was just I wanted to get out of the house and see what's out there. But I was talking with one of the guys that worked there for like a half hour, 45 minutes. All through Tater's interview. He was a cool dude. So, I mean, there's stuff like that. How do I put it? I never really understood that I could talk with people so well. Oh, no, I'm going for the big house. It's either the white one or the gray one with slab walls. Anyway. I mean, the problem is, like, well, if you don't like yourself, slowly work on it. Yeah, pretty much. White House or Alcatraz. Hey, I'll take on Gator Traz. Let's see what I can do with there. Let's see if I can make me some wallets. Maybe a coat and boots. Well, the first part about figuring out who you are and fixing that, like if you don't like parts about you, is to actually accept yourself. You may not like parts of you, but it is who you are. But is it who you are as a way that you can't change it? I don't know. Does that make sense? Like if you hide yourself even though you don't like, maybe you need to make peace with parts of you don't like. I mean, there's parts of me I don't like. But I also found out that it's just part of my nature. Ha, nice. I miss going to shops like that. I haven't been to one of those in a long time. I used to love, there was this one that I used to go to called Endeavors. Jim was such a great guy. Who cares? Not being enough? Okay, I understand that. It's a hard road. Like, I had to come to grips with certain things about myself. That I don't have a broad appeal. Like, every job I've ever had, people either loved me or hated me. And that was it. There was really no middle ground. Like, it's rare to find somebody that just, like, tolerates me. I had a boss on ship that called me a virus because I was telling people about the contract we were under. Yes. Outside approval is very much ingrained in what we see. I mean, that's one of the biggest banes of social media. You know, I mean, that's one of the biggest problems of people being raised on social media. They don't realize that most of these people are lying. I mean, 90% of the streamers or people on Instagram or whatever you have who show off these hot cars, these nice mansions, they're renting them. It is all a false front. They don't actually own any of it. You know, that's one of the biggest scams of social media is that this false lifestyle. That's why they crash and burn so hard, because none of it's permanent. Yeah, don't focus on if you are enough for others. Always ask if you like who you are and are comfortable with who you are. Once you actually understand and live by that, you'll learn how to tell people to fuck off, which is true. If people don't like you, that's a them problem. It's not a you problem. Yeah, it might be the most personal thing in the world because they don't like your personality. But do you really want to be around somebody that doesn't like you? Do you really want to be around somebody that you have to change yourself for? That's not a real person to you. That's somebody on a pedestal. That's somebody that you have to be on for. And that's just wrong. Same build a bitch situation. Oh, exactly. I love that. You know, I mean, sure, I wanted to be popular in high school. I so craved attention and approval. This all stems from my dad treating me like shit. This stems from my mom and dad's relationship going to shreds around them that they didn't have time enough to raise their last kid. That's okay. You know, I don't blame them. They had their own lives to deal with. Yes. Should my parents have paid more attention to their kid? Probably. But again, you know, you can't go blaming my parents. I can't go blaming my parents. They have a Mothman stuffy. I need to find a Build-A-Bear. Because like Mothman, like legitimately is my favorite looking cryptid. Probably the one with the least amount of evidence of actually existing, but my favorite looking. I mean, like, I just like the mythos around it. But I can't sit there and blame my parents because they were doing the best they could. That's flat out. I mean, you got to remember that, you know, parents don't go out of their way to destroy their kids' lives. As a general rule, there are a few exceptions to this rule, but they're doing the best they can too. And we've got to just suck it up and understand we have our own faults. I'll look it up. We have our own faults. Everybody does. There are things that we, like me, I can't shut 3 foot tall. Exactly, Infinite. I can't shut up. If I'm at a job and I see something that could possibly be done better, my first question is, which is the worst way of putting this question is, so why do you do it that way? Because they always get defensive, like I know better. But what I'm trying to get is information. Why is it done this way? The only problem is most people never thought about it. It's just the way they do it. They don't think about why it's done that way, and there might be a perfectly valid reason why it was done that way. But now that they can't answer, I think, oh, well, I think my idea is a better idea, so I tell them, hey, what if we try it this way? No. Green Jeans, you raised my hopes and then dashed them quite expertly, sir. And it just... I would keep getting fired from jobs because I open my mouth, or I got fired from a job because I was way too good at my job. Yeah, they should only like you for you. You know, I mean, it's I always hated that idea of, oh, he's a diamond in the rough, I can polish him up, or I can shape her up and make her, sing, or that stupid, oh, look at the geeky girl, take off her glasses and, comb her hair a different way, and you look at her. It's like, why are you unhappy with who they are? Why do you want to change yourself for somebody? Why do you let others change you? Why should you want to change someone else? If you don't like who they are, move on. There's nothing wrong with that. Sure, it might get upset, or you might get upset with the way they're treating you or something like that. Yes, you are a whole person, and I don't need another person to complete me. You know what? What was in Jerry Maguire, and you can complete me statement. You complete me. I freaking hate that. This implies that we're all broken people and we can't be fixed without having somebody outside do it for us. We can fix ourselves. If we don't like who we are or like something we do, we can slowly work on it. No, that just shows manufactured scarcity so they can increase the prices so that the next time they restock, everybody's going to rush to get one. That's literally how that works. It's manufactured scarcity. It is to build. It's the same reason why fast fashion works. Supreme or whatever it is now. It's like, oh, we only have so many of this, and then it's gone. It's terrible. Yeah. See, this is why I can't get a job. This is why I've never been able to keep a job for very long. Because I see stuff like this. Like even when I was in shipping, I had this whole idea of turning basically, import-export ships into medium security prisons where they actually learn a skill and basically rehabilitate each other. Rehabilitate the prisoner while learning a skill and feeling like they're actually something they can be on the outside. Right? Especially a 3-foot-tall one. I want one for my shelf. So sad. I'm sure somebody's going to make a knockoff. Yeah, there you go. I have them all around here. You must go to sleep? Oh, I'm sorry. Tater's got to go to the bed and got to use the sleep. Yak at you later, kiddo. Love you. But it's just, you saw Tater. These are the kind of things that I tried to, or saw what Tater wrote. You saw what, factory update. You saw what she wrote. This is what I tried to instill in my kids. To be complete in and of themselves. To support them in their interests. The oldest was interested in art for the longest freaking time. Still is. I shouldn't say that like it was a passing fad. So, birthdays and Christmas and, whatever holidays, we'd buy art supplies, but we'd run it past her. Like, oh, hey, is this something you would like, or was it this, Because I don't know jack all about what's the good equipment that is tailored towards her needs, towards Ghoulies' needs. And so, we learned. Tater always liked baking, so it was cookbooks, baking material, cooking material, stuff like that. Now that they're into, makeup and stuff like that, I try to be a little bit more supportive there too. That I see as a parent's job. Not to tell what a kid should be, but to see the kid for who they are and do the best you can to make them into the person they want to be. Because I got it the other way. My dad wanted a little clone. He got my brother to do almost everything exactly like he wanted. Oh boy, was he in for a headache with me. From an early age, I don't know what it was, something in me was broken. I am hard to mold. If you direct me, if you ask me things, I'm, hey, can you do this? Yeah, sure, I can do it. But you tell me to go do it. I dig in my heels, even if it is my job, which is terrible. But I mean, just a little simple courtesy. A little simple courtesy. I mean, unless the circumstances require it to be done a certain way. You know, I mean, just like what Tater said, you know, you're a complete person. I don't care who you are. You are a complete person. You don't need another person to complete you. And I will tell you honestly, I wasn't looking for love. I wasn't looking for someone else. I had had such a bad run recently that I wasn't looking to date anyone. I wasn't looking for anything. I just wanted to work on me. And that's when I met my wife. You never know when it's going to happen. You never know when the right person is going to come along. And as weird as this might sound for me to say, there's more than one person for you. I don't care what people say. You know, I mean, if it hadn't, and I'm not trying to cheapen relationships. I'm trying to say that it's not about timing. It's not about anything. You know, if you miss the chance at one person, there's gonna be another person coming along. You know, and maybe someday I'll tell you all the story about my wife and I's meeting. I may not. I don't have the permission to explain what happened. Let's just say it probably wasn't the best way to go about it, but it's worked. Against all odds, it's worked. I mean, hell, even at one point, we almost got divorced. And that was just because we kept thinking we were supposed to be something else. It is kind of ominous, to be perfectly honest. No, a Cobra Hot Rod was not involved. I don't think they make one in my size. But like I said, I don't have permission. As much as I would like to divulge, I haven't asked her permission. But let's just put it this way, you know, for another thing, you know what our first date was? My wife and I's actual first date was she came and visited me while I was assisting my mom's sorority at a rest area all night long. I was helping with coffee and stuff. I don't know exactly how much help I was, but I was there. But my wife, you know, we were supposed to go out, and my mom said, "Oh no, I told you to do this." And I'm like, "Oh crap." Yeah, we were. I think it was from midnight to 8 a.m. or 10 to 6. It was a 10 to 6. At a rest area, handing out coffee and chocolate, hot chocolate. And so I tried to cancel the date. It's like, look, I'm not trying to cancel on you, but my mom volunteered me for this, and I kind of have to do it. You know, I mean, yes, I was over 18. Yes, I could have told her no, but I didn't see a reason not to. And we could always reschedule the date. Well, my future wife literally says, "No, I'll just show up there. I'll just go there. No problem." And so we literally just hung out, drank coffee, hot chocolate all night, talking and helping the other people with, you know, putting out coffee. You know, that was literally what it was. You know, probably one of the best first dates you could have. 18? Yeah, we were 18. Or no, I was just 19. That's right, I was just 19 because it was August 21st was our first date. Well, was the anniversary of the day I asked her to date me. The whole group went out to the local fair and we had fun, and she was driving me home because I didn't have a car at the time. Mine broke down. And I went, you know, since I was the last one to be dropped off, I asked her if she wanted to go out. She said yes. I'm like, cool. So we planned our next date. Yeah, I mean, that's how it literally went. You know, I had already spent a lot of time at the fair earlier that week, like spent almost a whole paycheck. And so I just walked around with her and one other buddy that night. We just walked around all night, talked. You know, because obviously I can talk for hours. There's a reason why I limit this to 2 hours at a time, because I can just keep talking. I don't know when to shut up. I can run with anything. By the time we were 21, well, I was 20 and my wife turned 21. We had our first kid and we were married. I turned 21 later that year. By the end of that year, we were buying our first house. As poor of a decision as that was, and I mean both ways. Never buy a house that you're only putting $500 down on. You obviously can't afford the house. But damn it, I tried. I did everything I possibly could to make that work. Which was part of the stress why we almost got divorced. And then, you know, we spent a year and a half separated. And we were looking at the divorce paperwork and we just decided to give it another shot, you know, sat down and talked. You know, and here, you know, and I basically had put a lot of thought into it. It's like, here's the line. You know, I don't want to have to do this. I'm not changing myself. If you don't like who I am, then yeah, we'll go along with the divorce. And she was all like, but I don't want you to go any further. You know, her line was, I just want to go back to the way we were when we were dating. You know, for some reason, we thought when we signed that marriage certificate, we had to become different people and be more responsible or more like our parents. And that was the absolute wrong thing to do. We just kept being, you know, just keep being you. So many people get into relationships and think they have to change themselves or do this. You know, I speak from experience. I tried to do that. And it almost ruined my marriage. But instead, I end up with a great life, great kids, because I decided to put in the work and just make sure I communicate. If something goes wrong, we talk about it. You know, if we see something or if we have discussions, you know, we talk about it. It's like, you know, we were talking about possibly, you know, being able to have to move. Well, that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. You know, this other job that she's supposed to be getting, they're dragging their feet. So we're doing something else. We don't know if it's going to work yet, but we're doing something else. Me, I'm doing what I need to do. I take care of the house and home. I take care of her, she takes care of me. That's really what it comes down to is that's what you should have in a partner. Somebody willing to take care of you, somebody you're willing to take care of. Through the bad times, through the good times. That's just all a relationship is. You know, if they make you feel uncomfortable, if they make you feel like you need to be, like you're not enough for them, maybe you're not. And it's not your fault. Maybe they're just asking too much. Or vice versa, if you feel that way. You know, maybe you're asking too much. Be real with yourself. You can make mistakes. You have to stop and ask yourself, do I like myself when I'm with this person? Or do I like myself better when I'm without this person? See, and that's something I learned at an early age because we moved a lot as a kid, when I was a kid. And when I got to spend time one-on-one with my parents, you know, with either my mom or my dad, and the other was gone, you know, setting up things for moving, man, I liked them so much better. They were more relaxed, more happy, you know, just happy. And I realized that my parents, you know, I think I was 8, 9, 10. That's when I realized my parents don't like each other. They're staying together for the kids. They're staying together because that's what they're supposed to do. And as a product of that, I know I hear a lot of horror stories about, you know, broken homes. There's a lot more illusions. in the way I grew up from my friends who had broken homes. I had a lot more false ideas with, kids of broken homes. I think the biggest mistake with a broken home is that they don't have the illusions. They lose some of their childhood. You're late but high? Dude, you got drunk last night, now you're high? Man, you've got a problem. You need to work on that. You're doing a lot of escapism. I know you're doing a lot of hard work lately, but yeah, man, we talked about this. But hey, Ghost, how's it going? Hey, you're the one that misspelled high. At least I assume. Why, H-I-G-H, it's like, hi. Yeah. But it's okay. We were talking about, relationships and such. And just, maybe it's listening. Can you take me higher? To a place. What was the song? I haven't listened to that song in so many years. And yes, I was attempting to sound like the lead singer of Creed. I used to know his name too, but that was many years and a different person ago. And that's the thing, is realizing that as you age, you will change. And as you change, if you have a partner, you really need to discuss these changes. Okay. Something like that. And of course, Ghost gets here just as the ad is coming on. I've still got like 5 minutes, but still. I don't know. It's just 3 cars too good. I think it was more than 3. Well, yeah, but also I like to take my break and walk around at that time because there are people in chat that don't, that do get the ads. No. Yeah. And that's one of the things is that, like, I'm the stay-at-home. So what I do is I take care of basically 100% of the chores. Cooking, cleaning, I take care of it. Because she pays 100% of the bills. That, to me, that's fair. That's just the fair thing to do. And I know other people see it differently. Like, if you both work, you both should split the chores. If one works 32 hours, one works 40, you split the chores up just a little bit differently. Or if somebody has a talent for cooking and the other doesn't, again, you split the chores up according to their talents. And I remembered to hydrate. That's just what you do. You take care of each other. Yeah. Like I said, I do 100% of the chores because I do have other things I'm doing, but my priority is taking care of the person that's paying my way. And way back in the day, it was vice versa. I did 100% of the working, so she did most of the chores. She didn't like being a stay-at-home mom. This is no slight on her. I don't see this as a bad thing. But she's not a person that self-schedules easily. I am really good at self-scheduling. It's like I set up that, 2 o'clock on Wednesdays. I generally prefer it if, somebody's with me. And I'm not calling anybody out here, okay? I'm not calling out Ghost. I'm not calling out Cryptic. But I set that up on my schedule. So I'm going to keep that schedule. I'm not blaming anybody for not showing up today. I didn't really push the issue because I don't think either one of them really felt up to it. But that's my schedule. That's what I set up. So I'm going to keep it. That's just what I'm going to do. There's nothing wrong if other people can't keep up with that. That's just me. You know, I can keep doing that. I like doing it. You know, even though I'm still streaming, 2 hours 6 times a week, it's not 6 days a week. I take an hour off here or an hour off there. But yeah, there we go. Ad's going to start. So I will be back. I am going to go take a quick break. I should suggest you all do the same. Hydrate, stretch, do what you need to do. But take care of yourselves. I will be back. And I'm back. So, where was I? Oh yeah, talking about relationships, communication. Communication, give me a sec. Communication is absolutely important. Good and bad. Right? So, if you feel like somebody's asking too much of you, say something. Do something about it. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I need some help. I know that a lot of people will tell you that's wrong, that you should never ask for help. But the truth is that it's okay. I mean, I honestly don't think we would have so many therapists, options in our world if more people just understood that it's okay to ask for help. If more people understood that the man goes out and works and the woman stays home and takes care of the house is a social construct. Meaning that these aren't ingrained talents in the quote-unquote genders. It's just something we invented one day. It was meant to protect women all the way back because they were the ones that gave us kids. They were the ones that gave us a life. They sacrificed their life to give life. So the men sacrificed their health, their time and effort to protect the life givers. We've convoluted it and screwed it up so much that it's into these social constructs we have today. That somehow, some people, actually an embarrassing large amount, believe that means women are lesser. And then we have the pendulum swinging the other way where they say men are lesser and it's toxic and it's this. No, it's just who we are. Each can do a thing. Everybody can do a thing. It's not men, women, it's people. De Beers. Yes. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that the whole wedding ring, not even a wedding ring, engagement ring was not a thing 100 years ago. That was literally invented. And this, at least 3 months' salary is arbitrary. That and, diamonds are cheap. Don't let them fool you. Diamonds are inexpensive and nobody cares. Nobody cares if it's fake or real, lab created, whatnot. Nobody cares. Like, legitimately, I would rather have a lab created one. The reason why is that at least slave labor wasn't used in getting it. At least I can guarantee slave labor wasn't used in getting it. And that's just what I mean, though, is that how many things are arbitrary? How many things are just some social construct for somebody to try and gain money or the upper hand in some way or another? Good after morning. Evening soon. Hi, CT. How you doing? You know, and I think a lot of this is, it has to do with how people push themselves to epitomize the social construct, male, female, you know, these roles that we think are ingrained, that are some kind of genetic, you know, have to. You know, the man has to be big and strong. Why? 90% of people work in an office. Is that the legendary? It is the legendary. I can't do it. I used to be able to do a good Freddy Fazbear laugh, and now I forgot how to do it. I'll figure it out again. I'll surprise you guys. I gotta listen to him again. Used to play that game for the kids. Yeah, see, I was doing more, you know, the Toolman Taylor. I'm sure you will, Cryptic. I'm a fast learner. But, you know, the gender roles are friggin' oddly specific. And they make no sense. Like, you look back in certain time periods, the man was the one that stayed home, and the women went out. You know, or certain cultures, you know, it was the man's job to take care of the kids, you know, because they were defending the home. You know, it really depends on your era and what you're doing. And I get so frustrated watching people like adhere to these stupid rules and labels and all of that. And it's like, it doesn't matter. You know, it really doesn't matter. You know, if you're happy in what you're doing, right? If you're happy in what you're doing, who cares? If you want to go out and be the breadwinner, go out and be the breadwinner. If your partner can't handle that, maybe that's not the right partner for you. Or maybe they need to learn a few things about themselves. Maybe both of you need to go out and win bread. You know, and then you divide chores accordingly. There's nothing wrong with both of you working. There's nothing wrong with only one of you working. You know, but I hate these symbol. Yeah. God damn it, I mentioned food. But I hate these like labels they put, oh, trad wife, or oh, this. I can't think of any other labels, but, well, don't we all? I would love to have a maid. You know, once a week, come in and do all the crap I don't want to do. Bread, you say? Bread? Ooey gooey doughy goodness. Well, get breakfast, Cryptic. Come on, CT, you can get breakfast. Go get your brekkie. Oh, yeah, now, don't do that. And it wasn't Ghost that mentioned, you know, it wasn't Ghost that mentioned cinnamon rolls, it was Green Jeans. That bastard. I don't know. I just think a lot of people just get too wrapped up in these roles. 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 Oh, yeah, coffee. First thing. Dude, I make coffee before I wait. You know, like when Ghost was streaming Tuesday, I literally get up and make coffee, and then I turn on the stream. And I'll do it again. Gosh. Yeah, we get wrapped up into these ideas that society places on us. We have to be a certain way. We have to do a certain thing. Brownie and orange. Well, it'd be like a chocolate orange, only a little bit, you know, more fudgy, and I think that might be actually pretty good. Yeah, see, I miss having breakfast for dinner. Tater used to do that occasionally, and here's a funny story. At like 5 years old, kindergarten, You know, when they always ask the kids what they want to be when they grow up. Tater, when she was 5, said she wanted to be a pancake maker. Funny thing is, she's probably one of the best scratch-made pancake makers I've ever met. Oh. Well, when I was a kid, it didn't exist. You want to know what I said? I wanted to be a superhero. And honestly, I'm going to be real honest. You want to know how weird I was as a kid? I was training myself to at least be a vigilante, a singer, and a secretary. I was training my body. I learned martial arts. I played football. I did all of the stuff that you would do to harden the body to get yourself to vigilante shape. But then I met my wife and I realized I wasn't going to put her through that. You realize how stupid that sounds? Ooh. Well, do you actually draw Ghost? Because, it's never too late. A paleontologist, that's awesome. Looking at them ancient bones of them dinosaurs and other creatures. And astronaut? Hell yeah. I found out I couldn't be. Not much, my buddy. But thank you for popping in. Yeah, there you go. Your name's Chino? Like I said, a very little. Un poquito, I think is the proper, or else I'm mixing it with French again. I forgot what that means. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure somebody in my chat does. Yes, welcome. Bienvenido. Bienvenido. I apologize. Muy bien, you too? Where am I? It's a small world after all. I don't want to get sued after all. Oh, okay. Donde está? Where? They were asking where I am?
Why do I hear boss music?
I am in Texas. At the current moment, I am in Texas. Well, my pet name is Ash. Años, that's years? Who's the boss? El Jefe, I know that means like the boss. Yes. Yes. Neon boss. Neon Jefe. I don't know what neon would be in Spanish. How old am I? Oh, I'm 45. I'll be 46 next year. Little interrogatey though. Not that I'm super worried about it. Asking a lot of questions here, man. Am I being interviewed for something? I'm not complaining. I was just asking. I am on a public forum, so I feel it's perfectly okay to ask these questions, and I feel it's perfectly okay for me to say, I'm not answering. 21 years old, and your name is Chino. Mi llamo Chino, tengo 23 años. 23, yeah. Okay, guys, I get it. I'm trying here. Taquitos for life? Taquitos? I think that might be a little... Would that be racist? I don't know. That just seems a little stereotypical. I mean, one, I would rather have more authentic. Right? Yeah. I have played it at a time or two. I used to be actually a lot into it. But after Hasbro started messing with things, I stopped. I don't know what, Juegas? You're just asking if I play it, I assume. And again, you know, I apologize. Yes, yes. Yeah, you got me with that one. That was good. That was good. Because that's really how I feel. You have a good night, Green Jeans. Thanks for stopping in for a second time today. But yeah. Yeah, Chino. Yeah, neither was I. I mean, a lot of times when people ask about, you know, Magic, they're a current player. And so it's like, I feel bad, like, just like, I'm not a fan anymore after Hasbro kind of does what they did. It's just like, I used to be a fan of D&D. And they do what they did, and it's just like, I feel like I can't support them anymore. It's just not something I'm going to do. And I don't blame anybody else for supporting them. Like, I don't complain when other people do it. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's their deal. I have my deal. So, I mean, without getting too specific, Chino, where are you from? You know, like I said, without being too specific, I mean, because I know a lot of countries speak Spanish. I don't know if you're from, I mean, you could be just in America for all I know. Cryptic, we're not asking people to dox themselves. Unless you're going first. Never ask people for information that you're not willing to give. Okay, I know it has something to do with the 11th of September. But, and it's a question. Like, who do I think did it? I think that is a very complex question, to be perfectly honest. I think there's more to the story than what we were given. Yes. Do I think that we did it to ourselves? No. Yeah, see, there you go. See, without getting too specific. I think there's a lot more factors involved, and there were people that took advantage, and it makes it very muddy for the question, you know, for the question to ever be answered properly. I was alive during that time. I woke up to my roommate screaming, you know, because this happened. It was weird. Even at the time, I knew something was weird. I think people took advantage of the attacks. I think something happened that we'll never know. Because it's both business interests, it was governmental interests, that kind of thing. Unless I completely misunderstood the question and I'm just going off on a tangent and, you know, possibly getting myself in trouble for speaking on this. You know, I can understand a certain amount of just reading Spanish, like getting the basic idea. Because, I mean, I grew up in northern Nevada. I had a lot of friends that spoke Spanish, that spoke... Quien cometió el acto terrorista del 11 de septiembre. I think septiembre? I don't know how you say September. And I'm sorry I butchered that. I was doing my best. Oh, that was the question. I thought that said what was the question. So I was rereading it. I thought maybe you missed it. See, I can get a good idea of what was being asked. I mean, unless it's more complex than basics. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I can tell when you ask me where the bathroom is. I know baño. That kind of thing. But I'm just saying that too many people try to lay it out black and white with September 11th. And I think they don't realize that there were businessmen taking advantage. There was a government taking advantage, actually multiple governments taking advantage of a situation, and we'll never know the truth. Because if it ever came out, too many people would be at fault. Much like certain files right now. If it came out, too many people would be at fault. Oh yeah, exactly. I know, I've read the Quran. I was never an Islamophobe. I've never been afraid of that. That's stupid. I was there. I was around during the time. Yeah, I am big into learning about other religions. I may not be a firm believer in a religion, but I do believe in people's rights to have whatever religion they believe in. Complexly so, I do believe that we need to stop letting religious organizations have the raw political and financial power that they do have. I think in America we need to take... Your English is no bueno. Your English... Yeah, your English is not very good. Cumpleaños. That's birthday? Was 11th of September. I don't understand the last part. Eso es lo que quiero decir? Decker? ¿Qué has estado diciendo? Estaba contestando tu pregunta. You've lost me by now. I apologize. I am trying to keep up. I'm pretty sure you said your English isn't very good and your birthday is the 11th of September, but I don't know the backhand part. But I could be wrong on that. I thought Cumpleaños is birthday, but that might be bad memory. And I have no idea what que estadio diciendo means. Or estaba contestando tu pregunta. O que você está fazendo? Bom. Ah, okay. I am trying to be... If I'm coming across as like making fun or anything like that, or, you know, I definitely am not. Please understand that. I am trying to understand. Oh, okay. Well, I feel kind of bad then. Because I've been trying to answer their questions. Dang it. Hey, I totally understand. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to bridge the gap. Which means, oh my God, me talking back, you know, trying to read back the Spanish, man, I'm sorry for your ears bleeding. I can't remember how to say I'm sorry. You think that would be something I would be very good at in Spanish. Don't worry, my wife tried to teach me Spanish a lot. And I'm just very bad at it because I learned... Lo siento, that Yeah, my Spanish is terrible. I apologize, Chino. I'm doing my damnedest to try and, bridge that gap. Yes, I mean no offense at all. I'm not trying to. You're sorry if you spelled it right? Por que você faz streaming? Ah, okay. I don't. I know he's asking a question there. Por que você faz streaming? I mean, I know por que is a question. Voice? Você? And faz, I'm not sure what that is. See, I'm just reading words. I have no real understanding of what most of them mean. But I find this absolutely fascinating. I mean, to me, this is fun. I don't know if you all are having fun, but I'm having fun with it. Oh, why do I stream? Because it's fun. Because I want to get to know people. How do you say it's fun? Good. I mean, that's just what I mean. It's like, it's fun. I get to know people. I get to interact with new people. I mean, I've literally sailed around the globe, but I never got a chance to really interact with people while doing so. I was stuck in an engine room. And I got to see some of the worst places you can ever see. Ports, in port cities in other countries. Port cities are terrible. Never go to a port city. Never stay in a place where the airport is. I'm just saying. Right. Okay. Yep, I do. I mean, it's something I've been doing for many, many years. Not streaming, but I mean, I used to sit at a restaurant. Oh, yeah, I should probably try and remember that somebody's trying to translate for me. Interesting. No, I don't think she has it. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I tried to make a joke. I apologize. I'm not doing that. I think that might be insensitive. I was going to say that she didn't have any llamas. Okay. That's probably getting a little too comfortable. Maybe that's just me, but isn't Shadows of Reality the story you're trying to do? You're trying to get together? Ah, okay. Ah, yes. Sorry. Yes, that. I don't know. It's... that is an interesting question. Why do I stream? Because I found it fun. Because I get to connect with people. I get to... Well, I would say, in an online capacity, yes. Right? I mean, I've never met you in real life. But in an online capacity, yeah. I would say we're friends. I care about the people in my chat. Especially the ones that are here every day or that are regulars. I shouldn't say every day because sometimes you guys don't make it. But I think Gossip's made it almost every time. I care. You know, I mean, I will do whatever I can from this chair or this computer to help people. I mean, that's one of the things. Yes, I know. Look, I've told you guys before, I never expect people to make it to every stream. You know, just because I'm on doesn't mean you have to watch. What? I should play something on the screen? I've got background cycling through. You know, I don't know what I'd play when I'm talking about what I'm doing. You know, I mean, I get that that's what a lot of people come to expect, but that's not really what I do. I mean, so far, nobody's complained. I mean, do you guys think I need to have something more in the background than what I already do? I'm not going to put Family Guy on in the background. No. I mean, if you want to watch something like that, go... Oh, Padre de Familia. Okay, that's why he was asking. Well, then find somebody you want to watch that's watching Family Guy. I mean, I'm sure there's other streamers that are doing that. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I don't mean this to be rude, but I mean, this is kind of my room. I decorate it how I want. You know, to me, that's kind of rude to ask. Yeah, I mean, nobody's ever mentioned anything like that to me. See, and that's what I feel too. He's like, no, I mean, I created these backgrounds. I created the music. This is my stuff. You know, I did this. If you don't particularly like it, then maybe I'm not the streamer for you. I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, there's thousands. I don't want to be rude, but I mean, to ask somebody to do that on their stream, this seems kind of rude. It's their stream. I don't know what else to say to that. You know, am I being too hard-nosed or something? I mean, no, I don't think I am. Yes, I think that's what she's saying. Yeah, I mean, okay, like I realize the whole parasocial thing can be really weird for people sometimes. Oh, I'll see, you know, I have no problem trying. You know, I mean, you give me an idea, I'll do the best I can to do it good service. I would love to try. Put it that way. I would love to. Yeah, I mean, and you're right, Jade. It's basically my house. My house, my rules. And I hate saying it that way, but I try to work together with people. But there are certain things that, you know, it's mine. Yes, yeah, that's fine. I'm just sorry. It tried to censor "I will hit you," like, but that's not the context at all of what that meant. And Chino, I'm not sure what you're asking. Surfista del Metro. Wait, are you talking about like sewer surfers? What are you, 12? Yeah, Subway Surfer. Go find another streamer then, bud. I'm sure somebody's playing that. You know, I'm pretty close to just kicking you out. Or at least pausing you. You know, it's okay to talk to people, but you're asking me a whole lot of stuff. You know, this is a place to converse back and forth. Sorry. You know, sorry for getting the wrong game, you know, Subway Surfer, you know, whatever. Sewer Surfer. Yeah, you know what I meant. Then I'm not the person for them. That's pure and simple. You know, I don't take any offense. If you want to go find somebody else, it's okay. You know, I'm not going to be mad. You know, I'm just not the person for you because I like a more calming stream. I like to converse with people. You know, I have no problem trying to, you know, broach the generation gap or the language barrier. I do my best. But I'm not going to throw something on just to boggle your eyes. You know, that's one way to lead to a very bad, you know, habit of, you know, splitting your attention. You know, actually lowering your attention. It's not good for you. It's actually really bad. You know, to be perfectly honest. You know, if you're constantly giving your eyes something, you know, if you have to have 2 or 3 things going on at once, it's not good for your brain to split its attention so far, because then you can't focus on anything. You know, it's like, you know, I know a lot of people who have to go to sleep with the TV on. But I don't need you to make me better backgrounds. I make these myself. You know, I mean, I respect the offer. No, not Family Guy. If that's what you're just going to keep going back to, sorry, I wanted more out of them, but they just wanted to keep going back. It's like, no, I'm not here to okay, that's going to be bad. I'm here to entertain people, not to put things on in the background for them to be entertained. You know, there's plenty of other streamers to do that too. To go find them, you know, go find them. Right. Okay, I mean, I don't want, you know, I tried to give them a chance, you know, try to talk, but I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of places you can go do that. I mean, if you really need Family Guy or, you know, whatever, put it on your phone. You know, I mean, I know phone, at least mine does, you know, I can move different screens around. I can have 2 screens on it at once. I don't do that, but I know I can do it. I've done it before. Like I've had a YouTube playing, well, of course I have YouTube Premium, so I can get it in a little mini player. You know, and then this guy comes around, you know, I'll make you better backgrounds, Family Guy. It's like, no, that's 1, copyright infringement. 2, I don't want to be associated with stuff like that. While I particularly like Family Guy. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. And welcome in, Comedy Tragedy TV. I like the name, by the way. I like that. You know, I mean, that's like me walking into your house saying, hey, your rug looks crap. All right. I mean, that's mean. And uncalled for. You know, it feels entitlement to me. Like, I did my best to try and talk with the person, learn about, you know, trying to get you know, because I do have Spanish speakers, so I could bridge a gap to a certain degree. I was trying to help, I was trying. I didn't know what else I could do. And then they just wanted Family Guy or Sewer Surfer, or Subway Surfer, whatever it was. And it started getting very pushy to me. And that's where I draw the line. I'm like, hold on, it's like walking into my house and then you're asking me to change the blinds. You're asking me to do this. You're asking me to do that. And it's like, no. Right. And see, and I noticed some of that, and it's just like, remember, you have the ban button too. If you were feeling uncomfortable, you could pause them. You could, that's part of your job as a mod. That's part of why you have that. You have the ability to take control. I have no idea. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea. And that's why I gave the answer I did, is because, I'm just going to be as diplomatic as possible. I think there was a lot more to the story than we'll ever know. And that's really the brass tacks of it is. Some people are just curious if they can get a rise out of somebody. And I don't think I gave them what they wanted. Right. He said his birthday was the same one as, the one mentioned, which maybe that's why he asks. But also if he's 23. Right. And I'm not going to make a joke out of a tragedy, because it's a highly complex issue and there was a lot of factors involved that people took advantage of. America used it as a reason to go to war on a country that was barely involved. That's been proven. The weapons of mass destruction never existed, or didn't exist in the way that they were said. That's been proven. That's not a conspiracy theory. I don't understand why we didn't hold more of the countries at fault that were involved. I'm not going to list it out here, but this isn't a conspiracy theory place. I'm just saying that there's a lot. It's a complex issue. You can't just sit down and say, oh, it's this. No, you can't. Material stresses, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole lot of things that go into it. And I'm not going to sit here and just give a blanket statement, because it is a highly nuanced, complex issue. And it had nothing to do with Islam. I'm just going to say that.
Mission complete. That right there is why you're the best, boss.
It had nothing to do with it. I don't know enough about the Afghani conflict. I'm going to be very honest. I don't know enough. It seems like it was a no-win situation. Ah, that's what he was asking. Okay. No. Pure and simple. No. I don't know what was going on with the person. I don't know really. But, as far as Afghan goes, it's just like me trying to comment on Israel and Palestine. I don't know. I am neither Israeli or Palestinian. I don't know enough. Parasocial charge. They feel like they're controlling something. Yeah, and that's fine. You did a good job. See, often people confuse. See, this kind of goes back to where we started. We live in a society that confuses friendship and love. Like, if you see two good friends in a book and you're reading this book, somebody invariably is going to ship them. It doesn't matter genders. I'm not even trying to bring that in, but somebody's invariably going to ship them. Because we do not know in society anymore the difference between, especially Reddit, between friendly love. Like, loving your friends does not mean sexual love. Just like, people read romance novels and they think that's what love needs to be. Constant passion, constant this. Sometimes love is just sitting in the same room together. You handled it great, EXO. You know, I'm just saying that if you ever feel uncomfortable, if you ever feel something like that, pause. Pause the person. Give yourself breathing room. Talk to me about it. You know, I trust other people's judgment too. You know, I might be the boss, but yeah, you did a great job. I mean, at least I understood, you know, I mean, it, from what I know, I could glean from what I read. Oh, hopefully it won't. You know, or call on another mod if you feel too uncomfortable to, you know, or too close to the problem. Or call on me. You know, that's all I mean is if you pause and you don't want to make the final call, leave it to me. That's fine. That's okay. You know, I mean, that's all I'm saying is that that lets me know that you're feeling uncomfortable because I couldn't read a lot of what he was saying. You want to test something out. Well, yeah, I don't have any quotes added, but it's there. See, nobody's quoted me. And I also don't know if anybody really knew that it was there. So, hey. But yes, sorry, I did mean to read that, Ninetales, that the conflicts going around the world are much more nuanced than we can consider in a split second. That is absolutely true. I'm not going to make some knee-jerk response without knowing. You have every permission. You're a mod. Is that a little thing I have to tag, or was that more of like a personal thing that you didn't realize that it's okay? Oh, you're not. Ghost has plenty of them. I just have a feeling my quotes are going to be not of career-ending style. Although, who knows? Yeah, he's sitting on 68 because we're waiting for a great one for 69, and I still think people missed out on an excellent in-joke. No, see, Ghost, in that stream with Little Nightmares, you missed out on a perfect quote for 69. I don't think that quote was good enough for 69. And nobody saw it. I wasn't going to point it out, but I still think that would have been a perfect quote for number 69. I don't think that quote was good enough for 69. Because it all depends on how you want to take it. Come on, that was gold. And it was perfect for quote 69. I mean, people can feel free to, you know, well, the mods can feel free to, you know, quote me anytime if they hear anything. Yes, Ghost, that includes you. Right? And it's perfect for quote number 69. You don't know what 69 is, Ghost? And Gossip? Really? Well, I'm just confused because you're saying you want to know. Wine me, dine me. Oh. But I'm just saying, you know, it's like what you guys both said, you know, now you want to know what it is. What is? Then I'm confused. The 8 more quotes? But that doesn't make sense because, Gossip, you're the one that said that, so I'm confused. So what do you guys want to know what is? Sweet summer chicken. Fried chicken. You know what's really... That was the quote. That's literally the quote is what I mean is that should have been quote number 69 is in quotes, I don't believe that was good enough for 69, quote. Like, that would be quote 69. Because it's kind of like this double joke. Because it doesn't say quote 69. It's like, I don't believe that was good enough for 69. So it's a double entendre on the quote of 69, and it was literally said right after you guys got quote 68. Like, it was perfect. It was literally the next thing, because you were questioning on whether... I really like that. Where did you get that one? Oh, it's a tier 1. Damn it. I can't afford shit like that. I like that fire emoji. Yeah, it's pretty fire. What mouthwash? I got it from Kroger. Behind Kroger. Near the dumpsters. Anyway. Oh, shoot. It is after 11, guys.